Many people had thought that Lucy Olsen was going to end up in the Indiana Fever jersey, and I'm here to tell you that is not the case. Actually, Lucy Olsen has yet to be on a team, bro.
Did the Indiana Fever just pull off the biggest heist in WNBA draft history? While everyone was fixated on Lucy Olsen, they snagged Makayla Timpson, the only player in D1 to average 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks last season. That's not just good, that's game-changing. You're probably wondering if I've lost my mind saying the Fever changed everything, but by the end of this video, you'll see exactly why this draft strategy could create a dynasty around Caitlin Clark. Timpson's 6 feet 10 inches wingspan, paired with Bree Hall's championship pedigree from South Carolina. The rest of the league should be worried. Let's talk about the shock that went through the WNBA world when the Fever announced Makayla Timpson as their pick. Everyone was sitting there expecting Lucy Olsen's name to be called, the guard who had been linked to Indiana for months. But nope, the Fever front office had other plans, and those plans involve a 6'2" defensive monster named Makayla Timpson. You know what's crazy about Timpson? It's not just her height, it's that ridiculous 6 feet 10 inches wingspan that makes her a defensive nightmare. That's not just good, that's elite territory.
This is by far shocking to me based off what I seen her do for the 2025 season. I believe she's definitely worthy enough in putting on a WNBA uniform. Now, the draft is still going on, and we just gotta wait and see.
When you watch her play, you see how she uses those long arms to alter shots that most defenders couldn't even get close to. The Fever didn't just draft a player, they drafted a force field around the rim. But here's the question everyone's asking. Will those impressive college numbers translate to the W? We've seen it before. Dominant college players who struggle against the bigger, stronger, faster competition in the pros. That's the gamble Indiana is taking. But when you look at what Timpson did at Florida State, it's hard not to get excited. Imagine this. Timpson was the only Division I player last season averaging over 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game. The only one. That's not specializing in one area. That's dominating across the board. She wasn't just swatting shots. She was controlling the paint on both ends of the floor. The Fever's offense last season was basically give the ball to Caitlin and hope for the best. Now with Timpson, Clark finally has that pick and roll partner she's been desperately needing. Watch any Florida State game from last season and you'll see Timpson's ability to roll hard to the rim, catch in traffic, and finish through contact. Now pair that with maybe the best passer in the league, that's a nightmare scenario for opposing defenses. Speaking of defense, Timpson immediately transforms Indiana's identity on that end. Last season, teams could drive the lane against the Fever without much fear. Now, good luck with that. When opponents have to worry about Clark's outside shooting and Timpson protecting the rim, they're basically choosing between two bad options. Double Clark, Timpson gets an easy bucket. Focus on Timpson, Clark lights you up from 3. That's the definition of a defensive coordinator's nightmare. When you break down Timpson's highlights at Florida State, what jumps out isn't just the blocks, it's when and how she gets them. Her timing is already pro level. She doesn't just chase blocks wildly, she waits for the perfect moment. And her footwork? That suggests she's got room to grow even more. Some bigs enter the league as finished products. Timpson looks like she's just getting started. I hear people questioning her offensive game, saying she lacks polish, but that criticism completely misses how she'll be used in Indiana. This isn't a situation where Timpson needs to create her own shot or be the focal point of the offense. With Clark feeding her perfect passes, Timpson just needs to catch and finish, something she already excels at. When your point guard is Caitlin Clark, your job as a big gets a whole lot easier. What this pick really does is transform the Fever's entire identity. They're no longer just the Caitlin Clark team that lives and dies with her performance. They're becoming a balanced squad with legitimate inside-outside threats that can match up with anyone in the league. Clark's outside shooting creates space for Timpson inside, and Timpson's inside presence prevents teams from selling out to stop Clark. It's basketball synergy at its finest. You know what's even more exciting? This isn't even the complete picture. The Timpson selection was a masterstroke, but it was just the first half of what looks like a draft masterclass by the Fever front office. That masterclass continued when the Fever shocked everyone with their 20th pick. A player who doesn't have eye-popping stats but brings something you can't measure on a stat sheet. When's the last time you saw a 20th pick who already knows what it takes to win championships at the highest level? That's exactly what Bree Hall brings from Dawn Staley's South Carolina powerhouse. Think about it. While Hall wasn't the headline name from South Carolina in this draft, she brings something the Fever desperately need right now: championship DNA. Playing under Dawn Staley, she's been hardwired with winning habits and a proven ability to perform when the pressure is highest. That's not something you can teach. It's something you have to experience, and Hall has lived it. I know what you're thinking, but her stats aren't impressive enough for a draft pick. Sure, her scoring numbers don't jump off the page, and that's exactly why some fans were scratching their heads when Lucy Olsen was still available. But if you're only looking at points per game, you're missing the entire story of what makes Hall special. Her defensive versatility is exactly what modern WNBA teams are hunting for. Hall can guard multiple positions effectively, which is absolutely crucial in today's league, where switching on defense happens constantly. Picture those late game situations where teams try to hunt mismatches. Hall prevents that from happening. Her adaptability on defense gives the Fever coaching staff so many more options to counter whatever offensive threats they're facing. And don't sleep on what she brings to the offensive end. Her ability to space the floor effectively is going to be a game changer. When Hall is hitting from outside, defenses can't collapse as easily, creating those wide open driving lanes for Clark and cutting opportunities for Timpson. The floor spacing she provides makes the entire offense more dynamic and unpredictable. Suddenly, defenders have impossible choices to make. The leadership qualities Hall developed at South Carolina might be the most undervalued part of her game. She understands how to win, how to practice, how to prepare. All those intangible qualities that separate pretenders from contenders. Think about those crucial playoff moments where composure matters more than talent. Hall has already been battle-tested in high-pressure situations that mirror what she'll face in the WNBA. Watch her off-ball movement closely, and you'll see why she's such a perfect fit with Clark. Hall doesn't need the ball in her hands to be effective. She's constantly finding open space, setting up in the perfect spots, and making herself available. This is exactly the type of player you want alongside an elite distributor like Clark. She'll be in the right place at exactly the right time, turning good passes into great scoring opportunities. The chemistry potential between these three players is what has me most excited. Hall already knows how to play alongside dominant personalities from her time at South Carolina. She understands her role within a championship ecosystem, when to step up, when to support, and how to make everyone around her better. That experience will help her integrate seamlessly into the Fever system from day one. You know what makes this pick even smarter? Hall isn't just some role player who'll disappear in big moments. She's the connector piece that makes everything work. She brings championship habits and clutch performance when the games matter most. Those winning instincts can't be taught in practice. They have to be forged through experience, and Hall brings that mentality with her. Consider what happens when you put all these pieces together. Clark's generational playmaking ability, Timpson's interior presence and rim protection, and now Hall's championship pedigree and versatility. Suddenly, the Fever aren't just a team with potential. They're a team with a blueprint for success. The front office didn't just draft players, they drafted complementary pieces that fit together perfectly.